Thanks for joining us in this week's edition of the News in Africa and the World. Let's open today's session in Mali, where the junta that seized power wants a military-led transitional body to rule for 3 years and has accepted that ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta return home, sources in a visiting West African delegation said Sunday. The junta has affirmed that it wants a 3-year transition to review the foundations of the Malian state and must be led by a body who will also be the head of state. Talks between the delegation of the Economic Community of West African States and the ruling junta in Mali will continue this Monday. After a 2-day talks, blockages still remain at the level to return the constitutional order. An ECOWAS source said the military government has agreed to free President Keïta, who has been detained along with other political leaders since the coup on Tuesday, and he will be able to return to his home in Bamako. And if he wants to travel abroad for treatment, that is not a problem. Details in our next edition. After intense corruption criticism the South African government has undergone in the last few weeks, President Cyril Ramaphosa has requested corruption investigation into the ANC party. He addressed a letter to members of the party on Sunday, August 23, asking for a party-wide investigation into corruption allegations, as several reports of corruption related to COVID-19 tenders have come to light, causing outrage among South Africans. In the letter, President Ramaphosa stated that the African National Congress, the ANC, needs to face the reality that its leaders stand to be accused of corruption and that the party itself is accused, number one. He referred to fraud within the party that has led to the theft of COVID-19 related procurement of personal protective equipment funds worth billions of rands as an unforgivable betrayal to millions of South Africans. With internal investigations, all provincial branches and leaders of the ANC party are required to draw up lists of every person accused of or facing charges of corruption and wrongdoing. These lists shall then be delivered to the office of the party Secretary General for further processing. While investigation is ongoing, Ramaphosa insists that the ANC should distance itself from any member accused of corruption. Attacks continue to rise in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Army and local officials say suspected fighters of a notorious armed group have killed 13 civilians during raids on 2 villages. In the latest suspected attacks, the rebels tied up the victims in the villages of Kizinki, Matiba, and Wikeno. The army helped civilians bury the bodies and is looking at deploying more units in the area. The head of the civil society group in Oicha said 3 women lost their lives in the attack, while another 4 were missing. According to the United Nations report, intensified Allied Democratic Forces, the ADF, attacks have killed at least 800 civilians during the past 18 months, which says their assault may amount to crimes against humanity. Still in Africa and in Madagascar, mass prison escapes are not uncommon. 20 inmates have been killed in a shootout with police during a prison breakout in the country on Sunday. The Justice Ministry says scores of prisoners attacked guards with rocks and grabbed a gun as they tried to flee the Ferafangana prison in the southeast of the Indian island. 37 of the 88 who managed to escape were captured by the police and army, while 8 were wounded. 31 inmates are still in the run, the ministry said, vowing to boost security all the penitentiaries across the country. Out of Africa, we now take you to France, where police in Paris have arrested 148 people overnight as Paris Saint-Germain fans set cars ablaze, smashed shop windows and clashed with police in the French capital after the team's Champions League final defeat to Bayern Munich, police reported today, Monday. The violence occurred around the Parc des Princes Stadium and on the Champs-Élysées Avenue during and after the march on Sunday night. Around 5,000 supporters had gathered at Paris Parc des Princes Stadium to cheer on PSG, lighting flares and chanting as they watched the 1-0 defeat in Lisbon on the big screen. Interior Minister Gérard Darmanin said 16 police were injured, 12 shops attacked, and about 15 vehicles damaged overnight. He condemned the unacceptable violence and thanked the police who arrested the small violent groups troublemakers. Going over to Belarus, protesters have taken to the street despite the president's threat demanding his resignation. There were over 100,000 demonstrators who on Sunday gathered in the streets of the capital Minsk to demand the resignation of President Alexander Lukashenko after a disputed election. Dressed in red and white opposition flags, they flooded the Independence Square, the president's working residence, chanting slogans against their leader. President Lukashenko is said to have secured victory in the August 9 election after 26 years in power, which is unacceptable to the people. The president had, however, vowed to crush riot with an iron fist. The army was deployed supposedly to protect national monuments from protesters. Protests are reported to have taken place without any casualties, although local news outlets published videos on social media showing water cannon and riot police with shields moving towards the protest site. However, nearly 7,000 people have been arrested since the demonstrations broke out following the vote. Protest organizers also have accused police of torturing and abusing the arrested and detained protesters. And we end today in the United States of America, where firefighters on Sunday battled some of California's largest ever fires that have forced tens of thousands from their homes and burned 1 million acres, with further lightning strikes and gusty winds of forecast in the days ahead. That is considered a stunning toll this early in California fire season, which normally runs from August to November, and it comes as exhausted firefighters already struggling to keep up with the far-flung blazes. California has already been struggling more than most with U.S. states with the coronavirus. The combination of that disease and the thick smoke from wildfires has caused what the San Francisco Chronicle called a respiratory nightmare. With California pleading for outside help, several western states, the federal government, and even the governments of Canada and Australia have responded. The National Weather Service said dry thunderstorms could spark additional wildfires, adding that the western U.S. and Great Plains are shrouded under a vast area of smoke. It issued red flag warnings covering large swaths of northern and central California. That said, thank you very much for choosing the news to be informed in Africa and the world. Do have a blessed week start in the company of programs. Until we meet your way again, do take care and stay safe.